Okay, so you're walking through the grocery store, minding your own business. You pass a cereal aisle, and for just 3 seconds, you hear a faint pop song playing on the store's overhead speakers. You buy your groceries, drive home, and start cooking dinner. Then, suddenly, you realize it's happening. The chorus of that pop song is playing in your head. It plays once, then it plays again and again. 3 hours later, you're staring at the ceiling in bed and your brain is still aggressively screaming the chorus of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. You can't turn it off. You can't turn the volume down. You're a hostage in your own mind to a 15-second loop of a song you didn't even want to hear. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Up to 98% of people experience this phenomenon, which scientists call involuntary musical imagery. But the rest of us know it by a much more descriptive name, an earworm. But why does this happen? Why does the human brain, the most complex biological structure in the known universe, get completely derailed by a catchy pop chorus? And more importantly, is there a way to make it stop? The answer involves ancient evolutionary survival tactics, a psychological glitch from the 1920s, and a bizarrely simple trick involving a piece of chewing gum. To understand why songs get stuck in your head, we have to look at how your brain processes music. When you hear a catchy song, your auditory cortex lights up to process the sound. But the music doesn't just stop at the auditory cortex. It connects deeply with the hippocampus, which handles memory, and the amygdala and ventral striatum, which handle emotion and reward. When you hear a song, your brain stores it in a system called the phonological loop. Think of the phonological loop as a short-term mental scratch pad. It's designed to hold on to auditory information for just a few seconds. But sometimes the connections between your memory, emotion, and auditory centers get stuck in a feedback loop. The mental scratch pad refuses to wipe itself clean. Instead, it just keeps playing the same 15 to 30 seconds of audio over and over again. Now, this might seem like a flaw in human design, but from an evolutionary standpoint, it's actually a feature. Long before humans invented writing, we passed down our entire history, culture, and survival knowledge through oral traditions. How do you ensure that a tribe remembers a massive amount of critical information? You set it to a rhythm and a melody. Our brains literally evolved to latch on musical snippets and repeat them so we would not forget important information. The problem is that your ancient brain can't tell the difference between a vital survival chant and the chorus of Moves Like Jagger. It just recognizes the pattern and hits repeat. But not all songs become earworms. According to research published by the American Psychological Association, songs that get stuck in our head share a very specific DNA. They usually have a faster tempo and a generic, easy-to-remember melody. They often follow a common global melodic contour, meaning the pitch rises and then falls, much like the melody of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But the final crucial ingredient is an unusual interval. An earworm usually features unexpected leaps in pitch or repetitive notes that catch the brain off guard. When a song combines a familiar rising and falling shape with a slightly weird repetitive hook, it's basically a biological trap for your phonological loop. So, once the trap is sprung, why is it so hard to escape? Why does the song just keep looping? This brings us to a fascinating psychological concept called the Zeigarnik effect. In the 1920s, a Soviet psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik noticed something interesting about waiters in a cafe. The waiters could remember complex, massive orders perfectly while the customers were eating, but the moment the bill was paid and the task was finished, the waiters instantly forgot what the customers had ordered. Zeigarnik discovered that the human brain hates incomplete tasks. When a task is unfinished, the brain creates cognitive tension, forcing you to remember it. Once the task is completed, the brain lets it go. This is exactly what happens with an earworm. You rarely get an entire 4-minute song stuck in your head. You get a 15-second fragment stuck in your head, usually the chorus. Because your brain never hears the end of the song, it treats the melody as an unfinished task. The Zeigarnik effect kicks in, creating cognitive tension. So your brain keeps replaying the chorus, desperately trying to finish the song, but because you don't know the rest of the lyrics or melody, the loop just restarts. Now for the part you've been waiting for. How do you cure it? How do you kill an earworm? Well, the first method uses the Zeigarnik effect to your advantage. If your brain's looping a song because it feels unfinished, you need to finish the task. So go to your phone, pull up the song, and listen to it from the very beginning all the way to the end. Pay close attention to the final notes as the song fades out. By giving your brain closure, you release the cognitive tension, and the phonological loop can finally wipe the scratch pad clean. But if you can't listen to the song, or if that trick doesn't work, there's a second, highly scientifically validated method, and it involves chewing gum. In 2015, researchers at the University of Reading in the UK conducted a study on how to block earworms. They found that chewing a piece of gum significantly reduced the number of involuntary musical thoughts. But why? It turns out that when a song is stuck in your head, you're not just passively listening to it. Your brain is actively engaging in something called sub-vocalization. You're essentially inner singing. Even though your mouth is closed, your brain is sending tiny motor planning signals to your vocal cords, your jaw, and your tongue, as if you were actually singing the song out loud. Chewing gum is an articulatory motor activity. It requires the same exact jaw and mouth muscles that your brain uses for sub-vocalization. By chewing gum, you're hijacking the physical hardware your brain needs to play the song. You're essentially keeping the jaw muscles so busy that the brain can't use them to silently sing the chorus. Without the physical mechanism of inner singing, the earworm loses its power and fades away. So, the next time you find yourself tormented by a pop song from 2012, don't panic. Don't try to forcefully push the song out of your mind because fighting it only makes the loop stronger. Instead, just remember the science. Either listen to the song all the way through to give your brain the closure it desperately craves, or pop a piece of gum in your mouth and chew the song away. That's all for today's deep dive into the weird wiring of the human brain. If you found this helpful, or if I accidentally just got a song stuck in your head, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.